Hello, everybody. This is something a little bit. Hello, everybody. This is something that is not at all what this channel is all about, but I needed to shout into the void about something that made me really, really angry, and that is the most recent episode of Doctor Who. Boom. Now, I've been a Doctor Who fan all of my life, right back from when I was first, yeah, growing up, right? Tom Baker, my first Doctor Who, been a fan of everything all the way through. Not so much a fan of Jodie Whittaker, but we're not going to go into that at the moment. No, but this episode, oh my god. I thought the worst ever episode of Doctor Who was the episode with the universe that turned into a frog. That was my jumping the shark moment for Doctor Who. I was on board up until that point, and I was just like, no, no. But I've still continued to watch, and I think I may have to stop because this episode was just so bad. I couldn't believe how bad this episode was. It was insane how bad everything in this episode was. Now, really, it was nothing to do with the acting or the special effects or anything like that. It was just the script sucked. So it opens up with a couple of soldiers wandering through a battlefield. You're thinking, all right, cool. War is bad episode Doctor Who. They've done them before. The Daleks are very much an entire allegory for that entire situation about, the hatred of war and, the whole weapons that get out of control, that sort of thing. That's basically what the Daleks are all about. They're space Nazis, basically. And so one of the soldiers has been injured. He's blind, and he's wandering through the battlefield. And one of the soldiers, the one that has been injured, is the senior of the two, and he's trying to help his friend as they're wandering along. And saying, "Gotta be careful. The enemy is out there. They might find us. Don't worry about it. They don't come out of the fog. We'll be fine. There's nothing in the fog. They've analyzed it." And then the senior officer gets a call from his daughter, and he's talking to his daughter, which you think, okay, that's interesting. We get a flashback to their base. Well, a flash across, cross scene fade over to their base. You find out what's going on there. So you've got to brush your teeth and go to bed. And he goes, all right, fine, we'll do that. And we get a little bit of an interaction between two other people that are in the base. All right, establishing our characters. Fine. As they're wandering, they say, you can't be seen by an ambulance. And you're like, okay, so maybe the ambulances have gone rogue and they're killing people on the battlefield. All right, intrigue. I'm on board. I'm there. As they're wandering along, the one that is able to see, he wanders along. He goes down into a ditch to check on something. He steps on a mine. Whoosh! He gets disintegrated. All right? And so because the guy's been disintegrated, the ambulance that they had spotted way off in the distance with its flashing light detects that there's combat, wanders over, it scans the guy, finds out that he's blind, saying that his blindness is considered a fatal condition because it's going to take too long for him to be healed, and so rather than heal him, it decides to terminate him. All right, fine. There's a lot of sci-fi elements that will do things like that. Okay, no worries. Guy gets killed by the ambulance. It starts zapping him, and then we're introduced to the Doctor. The Doctor opens up the doors of the TARDIS and goes, "Did you hear that?" And he's heard the scream of the guy that just got zapped by the ambulance. He opens up the door. He doesn't look around and go, "Oh, this is probably not a good idea. Not a place for us to be." Or, "Ruby, stay in the TARDIS. It's not safe out here." Doesn't tell his companion not to come out, but. Anyway, he wanders along, and he goes into the same area where the guy that stepped on the mine steps on the same mine. Ruby, coming late, comes out of the TARDIS, comes after him, goes down, sees that he is on the mine. He's singing a song in order to calm himself. The mine hasn't detonated because he's doing a balancing act. He tells Ruby to go and find a something to counterweight because he's got to put his foot down because he's balancing on one leg. He needs something to counterweight. Ruby finds the remains of the man that just got vaporized by the ambulance. The ambulance basically turned him into a canister, like a little flesh canister thing with a little screw top on it. And they go along and they're doing this thing and they take forever. They're being a little bit too calm in conversation and things about that. One of the first red flag for me was that Ruby's been wandering around the battlefield, finds the doctor, and then finds out that the doctor's on a mine and says, no, I need you to find something heavy for me. All right. The moment that she finds the heavy thing, or she goes to find the heavy thing, she stops in awe and looks out at this, out and sees, the planets and the moons, and she's like, oh, it's so, she's staring at it, so beautiful. The doctor is standing on a fucking landmine. He is your friend. A little sense of urgency might be nice in this particular situation. Fucking hell, priorities. Anyway, so she finally gets she finds the flesh canister that was the remains of this dude. Doesn't know what it is, and he goes, it's or something is. Doctor, what is it? And he finally explains to her what this fucking thing is. Again, it doesn't fucking matter what this thing is. It's what the doctor needs to survive. He sent you to get something that is of a specific weight in order to help him put his foot down. Don't ask questions now. Fucking help him! And so she eventually gives the doctor this canister. He's able to get his foot down, and okay, there is a sigh of relief, and then things are sort of calming down. We're thinking, okay, cool. So the doctor's probably going to need to pull out his sonic screwdriver or wherever the fuck it is now. It's a sonic remote control now, and check it out. Doesn't do that. No, they're talking about things, and he reads the name on the canister, and when he reads the name on the canister, a hologram of the man pops out, and it's an AI, and he begins talking to it, gleans a little bit of information about what's going on, and then the hologram goes away. And then the soldier's daughter shows up. So this guy, he's a soldier, and he brought his fucking daughter to a battlefield. She may have been at the base, but she was really fucking close, because apparently while they were having the conversation, she used the geotag of her dad's last location, left the safety of the base, walked across the fucking battlefield, and heard her father's voice from the hologram. And so she's wandering down and she goes, oh, hello there. He goes, have you seen my daddy anywhere? She's not worried that there's a man standing on a glowing disc. You sort of think if she's living in a battlefield, maybe her father or some of the other soldiers might have warned her about the potential hazards that are out there. But no. So she doesn't know what the fuck is going on. And so she sees it. She goes, where's my dad? I heard my dad. His name is... And she says the name. And as soon as she says the name, the hologram pops up. Daddy, it's you. And she runs down and tries to basically give the hologram a hug. She knows it's not her real dad. It's a fucking hologram. And so Ruby and the doctor are basically, doctor can't move, and Ruby basically has to tackle her down to prevent her from tackling the doctor off this fucking mine and killing him. Another stupid fucking character. I mean, my God. No one is acting like a real fucking person in this goddamn situation. Okay, and so once they finally explain to this girl what's going on, because she sees the mine. So look what he's standing on, look what he's standing on. This mine is glowing bright fucking green. She couldn't have missed it from where she was standing initially, but it took her to be this fucking close, laying on the ground, nearly detonating it, until she actually pays attention to it. And now we get our third character in this situation, which is another soldier from the barracks that is a friend of the soldier that has been killed and a friend of the child. She's run off and tried to find her. Found her. Well done. Okay. Her concern, as soon as she sees, he goes, identify yourselves, and he goes, do you realize what that is? That is the sacred remains of this soldier. I need you to let it go. And they explain to her what is going on, that he needs it as a counterbalance. He goes, yes, but you are a non-believer. Because these soldiers, now I will give them credit for one thing. I didn't mind this at all. In the previous seasons of Doctor Who, the Matt Smith era, there were the Anglican Marines. We saw them in the episode with the crash of the Byzantium. We saw them in the episode where we find out who River Song is when Amy Pond had been kidnapped. The Anglican Marines. I thought they were kind of cool. I liked that callback. The fact that, the church has always basically been an army, and this is just, the evolution of the current evolution of their particular ideology or their current thing. I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that at all. I actually thought they were kind of cool. But anyway, regardless. You're not a person of faith, she says, so, you need to drop that down. He is a holy man. You need to let go of the Marines. She doesn't give a shit. She basically said, the doctor is dead. She doesn't give a crap. He goes, no chance. But doesn't even bother to consider the fact that, give him a chance to find a way. But she immediately begins shooting the doctor in the arm to make him drop the weapon. She's using like stun bolts, so you can sort of see like the glow of his bone through the bit there. The doctor won't do it, and the doctor says, look, I am a bizarre quantum entangled, technobabble thing. If this mine goes off, because he finds out that the way that this mine works is it charges the particles in your body and causes them to combust. Because the doctor is so timey-wimey complex, if he goes, he's taking half the planet with him. So he can't drop this thing because otherwise it will detonate. But now, because this soldier has fired her gun, the fucking ambulance shows up, and it, of course, shoots the doctor, and so in order to try and get this thing off the doctor and begin preventing the mine from blowing up and killing everybody, they say, look, Ruby says, give me your gun. Ruby takes the gun and starts shooting the gun. Said, no, you need to injure someone. And she give the woman, the other soldier that shows up, takes the gun off of Ruby and changes the setting and says, just shoot me in the arm. It's on the lower setting. Shoot me. And Ruby doesn't immediately do it. She is panicking. She's like, no, I can't do it. She saw that weapon doesn't like blow off limbs. It just can cause pain because she was shooting the doctor with it earlier, and she doesn't shoot this woman in order to draw the ambulance off because it needs to sense that there is an actual injury in order to be drawn away from the doctor. And because she is standing there hesitating, the timer is ticking down, and then Ruby gets shot by another fucking soldier, because of course she does, because she's pointing her weapon at an actual soldier on the battlefield, and this guy doesn't have all the goddamn information. And so now Ruby has been fatally wounded, and she has roughly 5 minutes until she is going to die, according to the ambulance. And now, essentially, the entire episode just boils down to them sitting around. They're trying to work out how they can save Ruby, and the doctor basically convinces the AI, which is from the dead meat stick hologram of the dad, look, you're connected to me, I'm connected to the ambulance, you can travel through my arm, through my body, down the wires, into the ambulance. You can work out what is going on here, because the doctor has worked out, while this is all going on, that the reason that this war has been happening is that when they landed on the planet, they announced their presence, and no one has actually, they haven't seen an enemy this entire time, but people keep dying. And so a company is actually in charge of this war. They're a massive arms manufacturer, and they are selling weapons to both sides. But because the battlefield was littered with all of these this planet was littered with all these different ambulances and things like that. When they detected combat, they went, ooh, okay, cool. So we need to make sure that the casualty rate is just at the right point in order to have people keep coming in order to keep the meat grinder going, in order to keep the war going. It's Starship Troopers in, a very, very small nutshell, and told really, really fucking bad. And so the doctor says that if you can get in, you can check the algorithm and actually prove to this woman that there is no enemy, because in order to stop this war, everything will deactivate if you all surrender. And he goes, I can't surrender because I have faith that there is an enemy here, and you have to prove it to me, because also the bishop is the only person that can call a surrender, and so he will require proof. Not that it really matters, because we've also found out that the mine is going to detonate in 5 minutes, roughly the same amount of time that Ruby has to live. Oh, and another thing. Not once, not fucking once in the entire episode did he suggest or give a reason or explain why he couldn't use the fucking sonic screwdriver. That's like his be-all, end-all solution to every situation. Whenever they have a situation where he can't use it to solve a problem, it's like, oh, it's made of wood. Oh, it's a deadlock sealed. Something. Didn't even fucking try. And so, everyone is sitting around now, and the little girl says something as well while this is all going on, and the hologram of her dad brings up pictures, like a picture book, a memory book. And she goes, oh, and she sits down and starts pointing at things. Like, oh, I remember this. Oh, I remember this. You're in a fucking goddamn war zone. Your dad has been killed and he's a hologram. This is not the right fucking reaction for this particular situation. Holy shit, get some fucking perspective. And so eventually, this other guy is trying to hack the ambulance in order to in order to make it save Ruby. And the girl and him are having a chat. The girl soldier and this soldier are having a bit of a chat. And he gets distracted. He gets zapped. Boom. He's now a meat stick. He's dead. All right. All the other ambulances show up. And then, of course, the other ambulances show in as like a really shitty version of a fucking Dalek invasion. Anyway, whatever. And long story short, stuff happens, but a dad's love has managed to hack into the algorithm and stop the war. And so the mine deactivates after it counts down to 0. And then it jumps into the robot and it heals Ruby. And then they all look at the sunset, or the fucking planet thing is like, ooh, and the dog goes, all right, cool, enough of that. Your lifespans suck. We've got more to look at here. Come on, let's get going. And they walk, and he goes, everyone dies. It's, everyone is a snowflake eventually. And they fly away in the TARDIS. And like, what the actual fuck? I have never seen an episode of Doctor Who, or indeed really any sci-fi show, and I've seen some bad sci-fi, but the way everyone reacted in every situation was batshit fucking insane. I don't get it. But anyway, I just needed to shout at something. I may not even upload this. I probably will. Again, this is not what this channel is about. I doubt there's ever going to be anything like this. If you guys like this kind of thing, I might start doing it on a different channel, but just wow. Anyway, bye.